My festive apron is ready. I can't wait to cook all my meals in the month of December using this really cute Christmas apron. If you'd like to see how I made it and learn my step-by-step tricks, stay tuned. Renee here in the laundry room. Before you start your next project, it's important to pre-treat your fabric. Wash it on delicate, dry it, and press it. That's something that I want you to know before you sew. Hello everyone, I'm Renee and you're watching Island House Handmade. In today's video, I'm making a cute Christmas apron. I'm using McCall's 7280 craft pattern. I bought the cutest fabric at Hobby Lobby for this apron. This is going to be the body and this will be the contrast. I just love the way these look together. I'll also be using pins, rotary cutter, marking pen, my dressmaker shears. I have some marking chalk and matching thread, red and black. And my new ruler. Finally got a new ruler. Alright, so if you think you'll like this video, please follow along as I show you my step-by-step apron making tips and tricks, and I can't wait to finish this project. Comes in sizes extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. Today I will be cutting the size small. Pieces we need, I'll be cutting view B, and I like this because I can use my contrast on the ties, the waistband and back ties, and the bottom hemband. And so there are 13 pieces here. I'll be using mostly all of those. I need the bib, the waistband, the tie, the skirt back and front, the pocket, the back band for B and C, the front back for B and C, and the little bow and the knot for the bow. This pattern uses 5/8 seam allowances. Here's our sewing instructions. So I'll just set those to the side and begin by trimming out my pattern pieces and our layout. Here I'm cutting out the bib piece, and you can see these are the grading lines. So you have the small, extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. And you follow along these dots for your size. Alright, I want to just point out something on the skirt patterns. Now we have pattern piece 6 and 7, and this is for the body of the skirt. I'm using the B version, which has the contrast band and the contrast waistband and the ties. The pattern along the bottom here has a place for lengthen and shorten the pattern. Go ahead and fold that under and use that fold line as your cut line. Keep the pattern piece whole, and if you would like to use this pattern again, that'll be there for you. Also, when you're cutting your size out, if you're cutting one of the smaller sizes, just fold along the line and bend it back and keep that piece of the pattern if you ever need to use this pattern piece again, and just use the fold line as your cutting line. All right, now here are the pieces we will be using. The pattern piece number 2 is the front bib, 3 is the contrast waistband insert, 7 is the front body skirt, and 10 is the front bottom hemband. All of these pieces will be cut on the fold. Then you have the skirt side back panel, which is piece number 7. This will be sewn into the front along the seam, and all of this will get gathered into the front waistband. Then you have piece number 9, which is the bottom band for skirt piece number 6. You will have piece number 8, which is a pocket, piece number 11 and 12, which is the bow and the bow knot, and then last but not least, piece number 5, and piece number 5 is the piece that will be ties. When you're working with prints, it's important to take note if they are all going in one direction or if they're tossed. I have a directional print. That means everything is going in the same direction. The top of the balls with the bows here, you can see they're all facing up. They're not tossed up and down. The bows are also up with the little tabs at the bottom. Now I want to cut my skirt to make sure that my waist is here and it's going down in the direction of the fabric. And here's the layout. They're running with the direction of the fabric. Here's my front skirt on the fold. Piece number 6 is the cut to side pieces. So piece number 6, I'm moving away from the fold because this is going to be cut to. For my front, I will be cutting size small. So this small line is extra small. This is the small. I want to leave all this for future use. So I'll just bend back. I'll use my little chalk here and sort of outline where the lines are. You could use tracing paper. That's very easy. Follow your size with the wheel, and your line will be transferred onto your fabric. And I will just make some lines to adjust where I will cut, and then I can take the pattern piece off and cut the rest. So we'll go like this. Just gonna cut up and over. Okay. There's a notch here, so I'll follow that. The line that I drew with my chalk. And now, here's a dot, so I will mark that and put a little pin, and the pin will show me where I need to mark on the back side. Okay, and now here's some more dots. This is my size small. So I will put a dot and a pin. I'm leaving the pin. Now this white is pretty difficult to see, so I'm going to show you a next trick. For the thread marking method, use a bright contrast thread. Go to the marking through the single layer, sew it through, and leave a nice tail. And you won't have any chalk mark or pen mark left over when you pull this out. Here's a size small with a dot. Now these dots are to inform you where the sewing line for the necktie is set in. Okay, now the body fabric is cut and we can work on the contrast combo. And here is combo layout number 2. We have the bow and the bow knot. I have the front waistband here on the fold. I have number 5 cut 4. This is for the necktie and the waist tie. And I left an opening here. This is folded, so this will be 2. And once I cut number 5 here, I'll move the pattern piece down and I'll cut here. So I'll have 4 pieces total. Piece number 10 is on the fold, and piece number 9, these are the bottom bands. Up in this corner is my pocket, cut 2. To press a seam allowance on a pocket like a pro, take a piece of cardstock paper, cut exactly where you will press down this fold line, trace around the pocket, then you will draw a line 5/8 in all around the cardboard and cut away. Add a notch at the fold line on both sides. When you bring it to the pressing machine, you will use this as a guide to fold and press and fold again and perfectly press, and down at the bottom you will fold and press, and you will have a perfect crisp pocket. Prepare the straps by folding them face to face and sewing 5/8 seam allowance. Then we'll turn them right side out and set aside. You will take your waistband piece and attach it using 5/8 of an inch together. I will overlock my seam allowance here. You could use a pinking share if you don't have an overlock machine. Then prepare your armhole by bending back 1/4 of an inch and another 1/4 of an inch. Press it all and top stitch. Sew the bottom band pieces 5/8 of an inch in and press. Finish making your marks on the skirt. So piece 6 and 7. This is the side seam of the skirt. The pocket will straddle the seam, so you want to follow, I'm following for A. Make your mark here and make your mark for A here with the thread. Once you've done that, you will sew your side seam together, right sides together in a 5/8 straight stitch, overlock, press the seam. I like to press mine towards the side. Then place your pocket, your top edge, to each notch. And top stitch all along. In the video I showed that I put the seam allowance in the center and stitched across the tops on one side only. What we need to do is break these apart because I just had a continuous stitch, and take the loop up and we'll pull this through so that they end up right sides out. But first, press the seams. The seam is in the back underneath, so you see it flat from the front, no seam. And press again. Open your stitch length as long as it will go. Set that, and we're going to do a basting stitch along the top edge of the skirt. Pull and leave a tail. Then then make a second row. About 1/4 inch apart. Now I'm attaching the waistband to the bib front. And take a break and press everything. And the bottom band, and I may just press that seam allowance up and add a nice top stitch. This is the bottom edge of the skirt. I'm showing you upside down just so I can show you. You will place the bottom band right sides together at the bottom edge and sew with 5/8 seam allowance. Once that is done, you will have the beautiful contrast band at the bottom. On the top of the skirt, where we made the double line with the basting stitch, we need to gather all these together very carefully. It takes a while, you have to be patient. You gather up at the top edge, and then it has to fit along this waist seam. Line up the center front, and then once I line up my center front, I know how much gathers I need that has to go into. Then I know how much I need to gather for the front. Face to face, sew along that, and marrow and press. Work your pleating along the top edge from side to side. So start at one side, pleat it all until it fits flat and comfortable, nicely shirred onto the waistband. And you can see it's starting to really come together. Here's what it looks like with the shirring. Now sew along the seam. Set up your straps at the top edge, face to face, facing up. Stitch along the top edge at 1/4 inch. You will bend it back and back again. You will top stitch all along the top edge, and that will hold the strap in place. I went along my outer seam with my overlock. Now you match the tie with the seam face up so that right sides are together. Give this a nice stitch, 1/4 inch, and we'll bend back and top stitch. For the bow, with right sides together, folded, and stitch along this line. This is exactly the same method that you had in the straps. Find the middle, fold in one side, overlap 1/2 inch to the center, Then fold the other side over with a little overlap. Pinch it, take your tab, fold it towards the center, and then over. Use that to make a little bow tie. Turn under one side, and then hand sew it closed by hand sewing underneath to catch the thread. I used a double thread, and just go along till it's all sewn closed. There's your cute little bow. Folded the apron in half. I found the center. I'm going to pin this in place. Now take a look. That will be really pretty. I'm giving it a few tacks. So I'll go in through this loop